So she finally said it's time. So all the veterans and all the adults know exactly what's going on, but the babies don't. So I've got to do some work in the barn lot, and I've got to get them out of my way. And there's just too many of them now to put them all in the barn, especially with the little ones. I don't want to get stepped on when the big ones get excited. So I'm going to give them what's going to be our last paddock in the rotation for this winter rotation, just for a couple of hours while I work on this barn lot. But the old ones, the veterans and the adults, have seen me out here getting everything set up and moving, setting up the reels and the wire, and they know what that means. The little ones are all running around with their heads cut off, excited but don't know why. So they're fixing to find out. The other thing is, the little ones were introduced to this netting the other day. I don't think any of them touched it while it was hot, but they didn't try. But over here we've got our 3 wires like we normally do set up. I've got some wires in the barn lot that aren't hot, and they've been running through them. So this is going to be a good test of them running into these hot wires and realizing, hey, that's the border, and kind of get them trained to the hot wires. So if they go past it, it won't be the end of the world. The adults should be okay, and they'll come back to mom, and I'll be back out here in a little bit to check on them anyway. All right, I need to check the voltage and make sure everything's hot before I let y'all out. Okay, Duck? Duck's ready to go. Hey, Cat. Don't be pushing on Duck. The little wire's broke. All right, let's check this fence out. 9.9, that's what we want to see. Now, I believe the voltage on this charger is a lot higher than 10,000 volts, but this is as high as this meter will read. I'll check each one of these strands, make sure none of them's broke. The lower ones are the more important ones, low to middle. They're not likely to hit the ones up high. They're going to be nosing around at the bottom, somewhere along in here, trying to reach through. That all looks good. Let's go check our wires over here. I seeded this little section right here with some annual ryegrass. So them coming in here and tromping it down a little bit will help kind of push those seeds down into the soil, help it germinate here in a little bit, hopefully. All right, let's see what this looks like. 9.9, that's what we want to see. Yeah, let's come off of that. Back on it. Yep. And the top one. Oh, 2.6, that's interesting. 8.7, 2.6. We must have a short or something down there. We'll have to go check that out. So each of these 3 wires are being fed off of the midline here. So we could have a break in this white one, or we could have a problem with our midline wire right here. But we'll check and see. All right, 9.6, and it's flipping back and forth. All right, let's check this wire. That's 9.9 solid. Okay. So what that tells me is we're good, because we're getting this white wire is getting its feed right here where I've got that hooked on. So we've got a problem either in this connection right here, which I can remedy pretty easily, or it may be that the wires, the strands that are in this rope are not touching that very well. So in either case, I'll need to disconnect the power to work on it, which we will do. All right, so in my bucket I had this set of alligator clips, jumpers. So I'm gonna try these first, see if that solves our problem. Just clipping on right here. And right here. And then we'll retest our white line. 9.8, 9.9, solid. That's good. Okay, so what that tells me then is I got a problem in that connection there somewhere. Either that bracket is broken or the handle is broken inside, or I've just got a bad connection there under the bolt, so I can redo that later and find out. But we're hot for now, and we can let the sheep in. There's not just a whole lot of grass in this little lot. There's probably more than what the camera bears out, but in case y'all are new to the channel, we're here in Tennessee, and this is our second 2023. We had another drought. 2022 had the big drought that was all over the south and the west, and that was pretty bad. But I think this year's drought that hit really just sort of isolated areas in the south. Our county happened to be one of the worst hit. It's probably worse than the one last year, because on Christmas Day last year, you can go back and look at my Arctic Blast video from December of 22, and you'll see that there was water in the pond and it was frozen, and I threw some ice across it. There is water in this pond now, but it is probably 2 feet lower than in that video, and today is December the 31st, so about 8 days later in the year, and we've had a rain just like in the last week that put most of that there. It was pretty well dry before that, so we still really have not recovered from our drought, and I hate to give them. Normally we would have 6 to 8 inches of grass standing here for winter stockpile without a drought, but it is what it is, and we work with it. We'll give them a little bit here every once in a while, and today it's advantageous because we need to do some work in the barn lot, and this will get them out of our hair and let them put some green stuff in their bellies. Some of them's gone back up to the hay bale already, so I'll call them back. Of course, my four-wheeler's in the way. I guess I could move it out of the way to make it easier for them. Hey, baby. Did you lose your mom? The little ones always lose their mom in a big move like that. Everybody gets separated, and it takes them a few minutes to realize mom's still around. Everybody's okay. A few days ago, we put everybody through the spin chute and checked feet and trimmed hooves and did some vaccinating for the little ones, and the ones we missed last time. And there's Ducky. Like all these little lambs, we're so blessed. We've not lost a single one yet. We had one stillborn out of a set of twins. We've had 23 lambs since early November. 24 if you count the stillborn. 11 are boys and 12 are girls. And we've got about 5 more ewes that we're expecting a lamb from sometime in the next few weeks before we call lambing season 3 complete. So we're very close, 11 to 12. The girls have an edge right now. I sure do love giving them fresh pasture. These little ones are learning how to eat grass. They really haven't had a whole lot of it exposed to them. They've been eating a little bit of hay. Oh, don't get into that hot fence, baby. I always hate to see them get shocked, but I know they need to find out what it is. One reason that net needs to be so hot as to discourage them from touching it is I have lost 2 who got their heads stuck in there and choked themselves to death. And that's just a terrible way to lose a lamb, and just can't watch them 24/7. So they need to just know that's not something they need to be messing with. All right, I'm gonna go clean your barn lot up, set out some fresh hay. You're so cute. So one thing I got to do, this is a old round bale from last year, and the sheep just won't hardly touch it. They've pretty well eat that one down. Just got a little bit to go on it, and they only eat this one if they just absolutely can't get in and get any room. Everybody's crowded around that other one, and it don't really smell all that good. So it's not bad hay, it's just sheep are pickier than cattle. So I'm gonna see if I can pick this thing up and it not fall completely apart, and stick it over the fence for the donkeys, and set them a new bale in here. And we may straighten up a little bit of this sawdust a little bit too. And I guess I hadn't showed y'all my new tractor yet, have I? So this was something Mama and I have been thinking about doing for a while. We've been getting those big round bales and hauling them over here on a trailer, and then y'all seen in the videos where we've pushed them off. And that's just gotten to where that's not practical anymore. I won't say she's getting older, but I am. And starting to pull muscles and tear things that don't need to be torn, trying to muscle things around like that. And so she finally said it's time. And so we did a little shopping, and actually ended up deciding to go with a Bad Boy brand, 4035 CH with a cab. And we kind of traded down on the size a little bit in order to get the cab, but I decided that at my age and conditions and whatnot, it would be good to have an environmentally controlled environment, to be able to work in cold or windy weather. And sometimes when it's raining, I don't always have the time to do what I need to do when the weather's good, and this would give me some options. So anyway, so far real happy with the tractor. It's only 10 horsepower stronger than my old Kubota, but it's a lot larger frame, and it's got, of course, the loader with a 2,200 pound lift capacity. It's got a nice 3-point. It's 4-wheel drive. Got a new bush hog with it. Of course, it came with the bucket over there, and I got a hay spear with it, and I got a trailer, gooseneck trailer down there. I'll show you all in a minute. But I've been real pleased with it. It drives real good. It's hydrostatic transmission, and I'm not a big fan of hydrostatics. I really, even to this point, I would prefer a geared transmission with the shuttle shift, synchronized shuttle. But none of the tractors that were in my price range that had the horsepower and the power that I needed had those options. So I'm getting used to it. You know, hydrostatic has a little bit of a whine, and it just takes a little getting used to, but it's actually kind of handy when you're doing loader work, moving in and out. It's real easy to, you're not constantly changing gears. You don't have to do anything except just move your foot over and hit the other pedal. It's got good work lights here in the back, and it's got a fantastic work light here in the front, a big LED bar that just like lights it up like a football stadium. You know, which would be super handy, you know, if it's nighttime and you've got to do something with the sheep and you need good lighting. Just pull that thing up there and kick them lights on. And actually, this thing, if any of you guys that actually track this stuff know, it's actually made by TYM, which bought Branson, and this is, so I've been told, this is actually a Branson tractor, just with the bad boy color scheme and nameplate. But this particular version had all the features that I wanted. So that's why we ended up going with it instead of the Branson or the TYM Branson version. But it moves these big 4x5. I don't know what these things weigh, but they are heavy. And they're tightly wound. I mean, they're well over 1,000 pounds. I don't know, I wouldn't hazard a guess, but they're very heavy, and it handles them with ease. It's the only thing I was really kind of concerned about. Along with it, we got this 22-foot gooseneck, which makes pulling so much easier. And we can get one more bale of hay when we're hauling hay on this size trailer, and it's big enough and it's quality enough to, we brought the tractor home on it, so with all the implements. So if we need to take it somewhere and use it somewhere, or if I need to take it down and have it serviced, I've got a good way to get that done. Better go check on the sheep. Make sure none of the little ones got stuck in that fence. So far, so good on this side. And I don't see anybody out, so that's good. And I don't see anybody in the fence. That's even better. I'd rather them get out than get their heads stuck in that fence. I think they're just happy to have green right now. Some green.